everyone. Well, as we know, ads, news, movies, and TV shows, and many other types of media all want us to accept their messages or their media messages at face value. However, you should look at these media messages and you should look beneath the surface and ask many questions. Today, I'm going to explain to you how to analyze media text, and I will take the example of films, especially film language. So what is film language? Film language is the term used to describe the way meaning is created by the moving images and sounds of film and, of course, TV, using simply sounds and lights, and not only TV but also cinema use those techniques, and we should know how to read those sounds and techniques. We can interpret this language of cinema and films because we have learned to read or decode the meaning it creates over a lifetime of being exposed to it. But reading a film is a complex business because we do not just read what we see, we also bring to a film a whole range of pre-existing expectations, or sometimes we call it the background knowledge or the shared background knowledge that we learn from our culture. And this prior knowledge that we bring with us affects our reading or interpretation of the images we see. So now let's move to explain the tool, or what we call the toolkit, that can help us deconstruct and understand the meaning created by various types of media text. And the best tool that I deem it important is, of course, the semiotics. So semiotics is what it is not, of course, a course about semiotics, but I think we should say a word about it. It is the name that is given to an important ways by which meaning can be studied, especially in the mass media. So semiotics is the study of systems, science systems, and the study of science. And in semiotics, meaning is said to be created by those signs and codes, on also denotation and connotation. A sign is the basic unit of meaning. It is an individual thing that creates meaning. For example, when we talk about clothing or your clothes, they are a group of fashion signs, okay? But perhaps you are trying to suggest those clothes suggest coolness. The type of clothing are very significant in every culture. And there are two ways of signs that create meaning. All signs have, on the one hand, the literal meaning, to which they are called denotation, but depending also on other contexts, many signs also suggest other layers of meaning, which is called the connotation. For example, an image of a girl dressed all in white denotes just what you see. This is what you see. You see a girl dressed in white, and this is the surface meaning, of course. But it may also, this white girl may connote, this image may connote innocence, may connote purity, or any other beautiful or good things related to the color of white. And we got it, of course, from our culture. So connotation, therefore, is always more than the denotation. It is what Fisk called the second order of signification. Okay, because Fisk talk about three orders: the first order, the second order, and the third order. So science rarely work in alone. Okay, because they operate in and they work in tandem, a sign, a picture after a picture after a picture, and of course when they are combined, we can say that those signs form a code. A code is a group of signs that we recognize as going naturally together to create an overall meaning. For example, a rose is a sign. If we analyze the rose semiotically speaking, we can say that it symbolizes love. But once this red rose is handed to a beautiful girl or beautiful lady, then it's just another meaning, which is called Romance code. You see now? So film and TV codes are often called technical codes because the meaning creation about films are often operated within this technical code, because technically speaking, those are technical aspects are responsible for the meaning creation. And there are three types of in which codes and signs can create this meaning. We can talk about the iconicity, indexicality, and of course, the symbolism. Now let's try to explain what is meant by iconicity. And this is also often a technique used in movies. So an iconic sign or a code looks just like the thing it represents. I have already explained last time the picture, the photo of any person, John, which is iconic because it resembles it. Okay, it is a 80% or 50% imitation of the real picture. An image, for example, of a cowboy seems to be a real cowboy. So the real cowboy, its image is the iconic picture, is the picture, the photo. But it is called iconic because the image suggests far more than it should. This is the second order of signification. It can stand for heroism, masculinity, toughness, and so on and so forth. Iconic signs are never reality. Okay? They are merely their creators' representation of reality. So they could be said to be an alternative version of reality. Nonetheless, we can say that iconic pictures are never real, but they are an imitation. They are resemblance. Okay. Now let's move to the second type, which is indexicality. So an indexical sign or code is a sign that directly suggests something that is most of the time associated with another thing. For example, you can say that a smoke suggests fire, sweet suggests an exercise, appearance, for example, can suggest wealth. Okay, the way you are wearing clothing, it suggests your socioeconomic status, or suggests also your state of being poor or rich or moderate person. So this can be, of course, shortcut way of media text to create and suggest the meaning. The third type is called symbolism. And a symbolic sign or a code suggests that meaning comes from our culture, because this is the culture that taught us what does it mean. And symbol in itself has no association with what we take it to mean. And if we say, for example, a red heart shape, it suggests or symbolizes, stands for love. And a dove suggests a peace, and so on and so forth. So, the meaning we gain from codes is said to be culturally determined, because most of the symbolism is most of the time associated with meanings that we got from our culture, as I have said before. For example, we see also our country's flag. So we see more that a particular way to interpret this meaning. And we see more than that. It denotes, because we say, remember, we say denotation. Denotes means what seems to be, what appears at the surface. But of course, a flag, which is a piece of colored cloth that suggests patriotism, suggests also pride of one's country, meaning in this case is sometimes affected by another type of I would say a cultural element, which is the context which incorporates the time, the place, and of course the situation in which the code, in which the text occurs. An important code is called Enigma Code. This is a code so often used most of the time in films. And this code works by creating a puzzle that we feel when we are watching a film. Then we feel we want to try to solve, but only by watching the film holistically till the end that we can find the answer of this puzzle. So movie posters and trailers use what we call the Enigma Code. Another element that we can add to the analysis, that can help us in the analysis of media films, is what we call the convention. A convention is an important idea in semiotics. It is a way of doing something that we are so used to, but we fail to notice because we are accustomed to see it. Okay, so convention seems perfectly natural, realistic. They are smooth and cool. We come to live with them without being aware or conscious about them too. So, for example, women in cowboys tend conventionally to be either very good or very bad, and this seems normal within this genre of cowboys, okay, movies. Another convention, for example, in some films is when you are an action film, it's quite normal to hear the wheels of cars that are screeching, or guns that are always killed outright. A punch, for example, of the knock that we hear, from the person. All these things are types of conventions that are repeated and repeated again. Genre and narratives are important media conventions, as are editing techniques, because of the use of certain shots and types or shot types, such as the establishing a shot sequence or a montage. So thank you very much for watching this first part about semiotics. In the next part we are going to explain the mise en scène and the editing